Young Woman in the Sea is a movie about Trudy Everly, the first woman ever to swim the English Channel. And there was a movie at the Oscars this year called Nyad, which was about a woman who swam from Cuba to Florida. And there's going to be obvious parallels because they're both about doing a really long endurance swim. So a lot of that aspect of the film just feels very, very similar, almost beat for beat. But the difference between these two movies is that Nyad is a very dishonest movie because, like, they portray her as like she's the first one to swim from Cuba to Florida, even though her record itself is in question, and like the general like aquatic society, I don't remember the name of them, they were just like, your telemetry for this section of the trip is missing and you've been very, very, very cagey about what happened, so it sounds like you probably broke the rules and maybe came aboard the boat that was assigned you, or did something that like violated it, and they've been covering it up. Don't have to worry about any of that for this movie because Trudy Everly's swimming of the English Channel is pretty well documented. It's not in dispute. And because this movie is set in the early 20th century when women's suffrage and women's rights are very much more at the forefront, it's a far more oppressive time to be a woman than 100 years later. That's where a big part of just the general film conflict is. When she's a little kid, like the movie opens with a really awful steamboat accident in the Hudson Bay in which like hundreds of people died, mostly women, because they were not able to swim to shore because they couldn't swim because women aren't taught to swim. That right there kind of informs Trudy's character, is that she wants to swim, but she had the measles, and so they don't want her in the pool because, you know, even though she recovered from the measles, they're worried about, you know, communicability after the fact. There's also the fact that she's been told swimming could damage her hearing as somebody with measles, and in real life, Trudy Everly did eventually go deaf, but, you know, she really wanted to swim. So I think she considered that a trade-off. The movie does talk at the end, like when it does the blurb about, oh, here's what they went on to do, like that she spent her life like teaching deaf children to swim after that. It's starring Daisy Ridley, and I really like Daisy Ridley. I've liked Daisy Ridley ever since The Force Awakens, and a lot of people talk about how like Daisy Ridley, oh, you know, she hasn't done anything since Star Wars. This is like the second movie I've reviewed of hers in the last year. They're not like blockbusters by any stretch, but like she's still doing a lot of work, and she's a really good actress, and I think she did a good job in this one. And the movie is kind of a general like women's empowerment kind of a movie set in a period where we can all look back and go, well, obviously you were being too sexist. So it is like, you know, it's 100 years ago, so it is enough removed from modern day that, you know, even conservatives can go watch it and be like, yeah, glad women are doing better than they were back then. You can pat themselves on the back and not have to worry about all the ways that women are still, you know, second-class citizens in today's society. But, you know, it's still, it's a pretty decent, like, in terms of like an inspirational sports movie. I liked it. I think Daisy Ridley gives a very charming performance. Christopher Eccleston plays her coach who does not want her to succeed, and he's also like, he's kind of a failed swimmer because he's tried to swim the English Channel and he has never successfully done it, but he keeps trying to set her up for failure. I didn't even realize it was Christopher Eccleston until like I saw the end credits, but I'm like, oh yeah, Christopher Eccleston does a really good job at playing jerks. He keeps that up with this one, but I love that dude, so love to see him in things. If sports movies aren't your thing, you're probably not going to get that much out of this one. It is what it is. It's a movie about a woman who, you know, fights against the odds to become an Olympic swimmer in a time when it was considered inappropriate for women to even be swimming, and, you know, perseveres, goes to the Olympics, and then swims the English Channel. I think, like, I don't know how true it is because, you know, like, you know, movies that are like biopics about sports people, they'll often exaggerate stuff, but I think they said that like once she swam the English Channel that she had the biggest parade for an athlete in New York history. It could be true. I haven't independently verified that, but, you know, she's the first woman to swim the English Channel, and like I think only the third or fourth person ever to do it. So that is a very, very impressive record, especially because she held the world record for time for swimming the English Channel for like a quarter century after. So she was a very good swimmer. Hey, thanks for watching. Your view means a lot. Don't forget to toss me a like and subscribe and ring the bell and drop a comment below telling me what you thought of the video. I stream Mondays and Fridays at 5 p.m. Pacific, so catch me live and join in on the convo. You can find all my socials in the description below, and thank you to all my patrons with a very special shout out to my Whale Shark tier patrons Ms. Milena and Hella Vitrum, and my Anemone Friend tier patrons Piftle Cakes and Geek Filter. Your support means the world. Catch you next time.